We've talked about the core values before, but definitely if you don't have your core values as a couple or as a family, I definitely recommend that practice. But before you do it as a couple or a family, I would say do your individual values.
Hi, I'm Ian.
And I'm Megan.
Welcome back, or welcome to
the Memory Millionaires Podcast.
We are survivors of government service,
cancer,
world travel,
and parenting. We're here to share stories and insights to help illuminate your path towards a happier, healthier lifestyle. Well then, what's been on your mind lately?
Hello again. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2.
Season 2? Season 2? Episode 2?
Yeah, why is it Season 2? Why'd you move?
Episode 2?
Why'd you move downstairs into the kitchen? I know why.
Feels a little more homey here. Like, this is where we live. Our office feels very sterile.
We had a good friend say, I like it, but I don't feel like I'm sitting with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I said, oh, well, take a look at this older version of me trying to have a podcast. What do you think of that? And it was us sitting here with the background. And he's like, yeah, that's like I'm sitting at a table with you.
This is where we typically are in our house anyway, is in this room.
And it's where we've had more often the discussions that move us and change us.
Yeah, it's not in our office.
No.
So.
Well, thanks for the podcast, it was.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of discussions that move us and change us, what's been on your mind? What have you been...
My mind?
Yeah.
Resistance.
Resistance.
Resistance has been on my mind because I put it there.
Mm-hmm. What are you resistant to?
Personal development.
Like your own personal development?
Uh-huh. Yep. Applying. I have no trouble getting on board a program that develops me. That was the Navy. Mm. Once I elected to join it, I said, all right, I do this until the end. And do it well enough that the end doesn't ruin the reason for doing it. Done. Okay, now what? Okay, now I do everything I can to get a job that honors that time and makes the most amount of money I can based on my experience. Done. Now climb the ladder. I did. I didn't like where I got. I wasn't climbing a ladder. I was spending time on an escalator.
You were just going through the motions.
You just had to go to work.
Yeah, he was going through the motions.
Yep. So got out. Then I thought I needed to be there again because now I've got a child. I have to be there. Well, eventually that escalator endangered my family.
Get off of it again.
Get off the escalator again. So now I'm now I'm inexperienced in following my heart, following my passions, following my interests, because it was never afforded to me. It was never encouraged for me to do that.
It's been do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Not pursue the things you would enjoy doing,
mm-hmm.
or bring you a sense
interest.
Just interest, a sense of purpose.
I had some interest in a submarine. I had some interest in working in the shipyard. I had some interest in being a instructor. But as soon as I put a personal stamp on any of that, oh, I'm going to be this type of mechanic. No, you cannot. You are being this type of mechanic. Okay, I want to be this type of worker. No, you're going to be this type of worker. All right, I want to be this type of instructor. No, you're going to instruct this way. So it was all, ever since I was a kid, being stamped out. No, you can't do that.
So, like, how did that come up for you when you were a kid then?
I want to be in band. No, we can't afford it. I want to learn to skate park rollerblade. Like, I want to learn to grind and stuff like that. No, it's too dangerous. I want to learn to jump my bike. No, you can't do that. I tried it anyway. All of those things anyway, but I didn't have a voice saying, keep going, keep doing it. You're not good at it until you're good at it. You have to make it till you make it.
There was no
None of that.
structure for you, and also it wasn't safe to fail. Would you say that?
Yeah, but not so clearly it wasn't safe to fail. It was guised as safety. It was guised as the right thing to do.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I see someone, though, who has very much pursued places of personal growth in other areas.
Me?
Yes. Your health, your wellness, your spirituality, that more introspective work.
Now
Yeah.
that I've had a family, now that I have kids, when I look to, you can't see it, that you're off camera if you're watching, and you can't see it because you're listening person, but above us right now are pictures of our grandparents, and my dad is right over there, and my dad I have endless critique over, not critique, judgment, I don't know what you would call it, that he didn't be who he wanted to be. He didn't follow his dreams when he could have.
I think it's a lot of what you feel for your dad comes from having this knowledge and this knowing it, but it wasn't until after he passed away, so now you can't even ask him what that was. That
Holding him back?
That held it. We have
I have an idea.
And we can make inferences,
Mm-hmm.
but you also can't ask that person.
Right.
Right. So.
Yeah, and that's the kind of question I didn't want to ask him. That felt awkward.
Mm.
Those are the questions you listening who can recognize questions you have for your parents or your grandparents or the person in your life that you think is on their way out. There's no other way you're going to get a solution or an answer or even a story about why that is the way it is unless you ask them now, right now. You hear me? Stop the podcast. It's just a podcast. Text them a big, bold answer or a question.
Or call them. Or
call them, yeah. I didn't get the chance to find out why. I have an idea why. But if I then turn that lesson onto myself, if one day Colin, Sully, Gavin say, Dad, why didn't you keep trying to become a coach? Why didn't you get out of the shipyard and travel with Mom when you really, really wanted to? I don't think I'll have what I know now in the position I'm in, I wouldn't have a satisfactory answer for them. Maybe not satisfactory, but one I could defend up and down.
So it's thinking to your future of regret is the answer key.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that if the boys asked you these questions that are coming into your mind now of things that you want and aspire to do, you don't have a good enough answer right now for not doing those things. The excuses you have, they're not, right now they're excuses, not reasons. Yeah, so then that ties into a conversation that I had with my mom on New Year's Eve around her, I don't know if it's necessarily a regret, but her wish that she had been able to spend more time with me when I could remember it. So she got to spend time with me when I was a baby. But...
Got to. You say got to.
She
was enabled to?
She was enabled to
or
spend
she
time
enabled
with me.
herself
Yeah.
to.
She took me to work with her. She took me to conferences with her.
Conferences?
She took me to a lot of things.
Because a baby's portable? Why was it so?
Babies are portable. There was only one of us. We were still living near family, so there was the support there. And then,
And there was only one kid. No, there was two.
well, there was my brother.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, right, my sister comes along. It's harder to take two kids places. Her and my dad get divorced. Now there's only one parent figuring things out. Now she's moving across the country with two kids.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did you really? How long were you riding in the back of a pickup truck?
well, that was a different trip.
Oh,
But from Missouri to Montana and back again. That's an
from
aside.
Missouri to Montana and back again in the back of a pickup truck?
Yeah.
On the freeway.
Yeah. So
Holy crap.
she moved from Missouri to Seattle.
Not in the back of a pickup truck that time.
No.
Oh my goodness.
We were in a U-Haul that time.
Okay. A little safer.
Then when we moved here, she's a single parent. She lives in a new city where she doesn't know a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of living is considerably more than where we moved from.
But at the time, what was it? The 90s?
We moved
late
in
90s?
1997.
So it would have even still cost a third of what it does now.
Yeah, who knows? But
just thinking. Well, and it's also the 90s. It's a long time ago.
And she had an idea of a certain type of life she wanted us to have. She wanted to send us to a private school. That cost
way better than what the options were available now. A nice private school, a nice house, a nice neighborhood. Those were available now. So she shot for the stars.
Yeah. And in shooting for those stars and affording us things like having a nice house versus living in an apartment. Going to a private school rather than sending us from... I came from a school where my entire grade was, I think, 14 kids. Mm-hmm. Right?
Which sounds lovely.
Yeah. So rather than moving to Seattle and like now you're in a class of 400 people, she sent us to a private school. Yeah. Make that transition a little easier. We had a house.
Gosh, you'd be a different person.
We had a lot of comforts and a very nice life, but that came at a cost, which the cost was her having to work more. So.
And then deeper still, lack of a parent, lack of a consistent.
Her having to work more leads to a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
What primary is her not being around as much.
Yeah, her not being around
because
as much.
She's working to earn the money to
you
afford
missing your mom.
Yeah.
You missing it. The baby missing its mother when it still needs her.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's
up to you.
That's true. But there's nothing wrong, in my mind, there's nothing wrong with her saying, we can't live where we are anymore. We need to go somewhere different.
No.
And then having the idea of what she would like that to look like and trying to provide for us a very good life. Soccer, basketball, karate, there comes, and this isn't just her, this is all families, in a certain capacity, is they're trying to find the balance between work and family and school and activities and...
Yeah, but isn't it all just keeping up with the Joneses? She moved out here and saw what the Joneses were doing and tried to make the Joneses for you.
Isn't that what a lot of our society is?
And isn't that what we're not interested in?
That's exactly what
Yeah. Yeah.
So her regret of I didn't get to spend as much time with you in the years that you remember is my answer key of when it comes up of what are we going to do for school for Colin next year? What are we going to do for our jobs? What are we going to do with our house? Well, for me, it's a combination of hearing what my mom said she regrets and knowing what my desires are as a parent, and then also trusting my own intuition, where all of those parts come together, and I know the best choice for our family. But the best choice for our family is very specific to the Landstein family, and we cannot take what we believe is right for us and tell other people this is what you really should be doing. Which I think sometimes when we talk about it, people believe that we're saying what we're doing is the best way to, and that's definitely not true. It's the best thing for us.
And if we reflect on our parents, we talked about this recently with our best friends. What we think is right may someday be what they critique us on.
Precisely.
If we can at least be a little more in line with the natural order of things, we're less likely to have done something that contradicts their future or complicates their future. Complicate, maybe less complicate. Because what your mom did complicated your well, no, it didn't complicate it. It comforted. It was in the effort of comfort.
I think what we're doing is we are laying the foundation for our boys so that if they do question or have issues with the way we choose to live our life, when they're older, we can at least say to them, these were our values, and we followed our values. We trusted what we believed was best, not just for us, but for our family. And we pursued that dream of doing things different because we thought it would be in the greatest good of our family. Because that's what I think we're talking about a lot is we're making hard decisions about how to raise our children. I think everyone who has children is faced with difficult decisions on what is the right thing to do, what is the right way to raise this person into a good human.
I just saw a story that she's a lawyer. He was like a manager of a restaurant. They had a baby. They agreed she was the one that was going to go back to work because lawyer money is not manager money. And now he is trying to turn things around because she's mom. There's no consoling a baby with dad when he wants mom. And this is a baby. You don't reason with him and say, no, dad's just fine. He's the same. No, he's not. A bottle's not the same. Formula's not the same. Yes, feed the baby. Yes, if mom's not here, feed the baby. But there's a spectrum of parenting, and there's a high end and a low end. And maybe giving up that high price apartment in downtown wherever, and he managing and she being at home instead of the lawyer making the most amount of money is what's best for that human, that future human. And probably both of them too, once they have a happy, healthy family.
I think what we're saying is we're really just trusting our instincts, trusting our children's instincts, trying to
I don't know about Sully's instincts.
parent in a way that maybe we weren't parented. Of, yes, you are 5, but also what you have to say, your big emotions, your opinions about things matter. Society tells us that you should be sleeping in your own, on your own, in your own bed by whatever age.
Yeah, and does that actually get you more sleep? The
And
family more sleep? No? Then why? It's missed the mark.
So, trusting our own instincts, but also using the information that we've gotten from our own parents,
The lessons.
the lessons that they've...
Information. Education.
Yeah.
The education we've got from our own
They've
parents.
shared it with us, or we see where we could do things differently that are more aligned with our values. And what I think is really important for all couples, but especially if you're planning on having children, is to get really clear on your values.
Responsibility to our response ability. I value an ability to serve up a response rather than a reaction. For me, it's at the top of the list because it's actually what I'm worst at.
But it's what we want
Yeah.
to be best at, is our ability to respond and not react.
Growth.
That's what we're working on.
What is growth?
For me, growth is continually looking for ways that I can be a better person. A better mom, a better wife, a better coach, a better friend, a better human. I want the cashier at the grocery store to have a positive interaction with me. I want the person who sells me my ticket at the ferry terminal to think, oh, it's really nice to have someone genuinely ask me about how things are going and not just be rushing through here in a hurry.
That's growth?
It's, for me, growth is, I'm already at this level where things are good. Life is really good, and I could just stay where I am. But I know that there's something else I can work on. Whether that is just me getting shine time in the morning, like I tell my boys they need to do. Or whether that's spending less time scrolling through Instagram and mindless posts and more time listening to educational podcasts or reading books or finding the ways that I can educate Colin.
How do you condense all that into a statement for growth?
I think it's what I started with, is looking for the ways that I can be a better human. And everyone's definition of a better human is going to be different. So growth is very personal.
Growth for me is, this is happening for me, not against me. For me to learn, for me to garner a lesson. Growth. Growth means I learned a lesson and I apply it. To me, it's growth. Wellness. It doesn't suck to be me. in many, 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 many different facets. It doesn't suck. I have a lot of wellness in my life. I'm well when I wake up in the morning. I'm well when I go to bed. I'm well in my relationships. I'm well in my physicality. I'm well in my nutrition.
And wellness is something that is nearly constantly on my mind of knowing that I have a chronic health condition and that the choices I make in all of those areas you spoke of, but specifically my health, my exercise, my nutrition.
Your lymphatic system.
Yeah,
the waste removal system of your body. Well, don't put a lot of waste in.
right. So that is something I'm considering constantly.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like you said, the wellness of my relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That ties into
Feeling greater freedom. It's not. You don't feel free when you hear of a friend going for a bike ride and you limit yourself in the idea that you can't do it because of your fitness, your wellness, your inability to grow, your response to that saying, nope, I just couldn't do that.
Mm.
That's not a lot. There's no freedom in that line.
Freedom comes from having all of those other things in order.
Effort toward them. I don't have them in order.
Respect is something that I think of first, having respect for myself. And
We just had someone talk about how she needs to have, or she's aiming at that.
Yeah,
having better respect for herself.
That ties into the wellness, the growth, the responsibility.
Yeah.
And for me, respect starts with self-respect. And is that me being the person that I say I am? No matter who can see me, am I doing the things and being in integrity to the person that I say I am? So when no one's looking, am I still doing the things that I say I'm going to do, or that I do when people are watching me? And then if I have that respect for myself, when I have that respect for myself, I'm able to extend that respect to other people. I think a lot of times when we're taught respect, it's
obedience.
It's obedience. It's always an outward projection rather than an inward respect for oneself. I believe it needs to begin with respect for oneself, because if you don't have respect for yourself, you don't know how to honor the most important person in your life. Then how are you going to have respect for other people? It's not. I don't think it's true respect. I think it is more of that sense of obedience and feeling that you have to behave a certain way because a person has this title or this expectation.
No shit talking. Respect. There's a low hanging fruit of respect is no shit talking. Gratitude.
It's a lot of gratitude in our lives.
A lot of gratitude.
And I am doing my best to express that gratitude more often.
Hard to be pessimistic when you're gracious.
I see gratitude being this characteristic that it flows. It has a flow.
Gratitude.
When
ebbs and flows?
Well, no, a flow of. I've noticed when I have extended my gratitude to other people, they reciprocate that gratitude. So,
an energy.
It's an energy. If the more I send out, the people that I send it out to also send it out.
A positive feedback loop. For some more joy.
Joy.
Mm-hmm. Make time for joy. See the joy. Foster the joy. Go swim. Go run. Go bike. Why? Because it's for exercise and it's good for... No, you like it. I love it. I want rollerblades. I love it. I miss it a lot.
Yeah, I actually had a challenge for some of the people that I'm working with that was, think back to 9-year-old you.
Mm-hmm.
What did 9-year-old you love to do?
Ride my bike, rollerblade, swim.
Yeah, and the challenge
Climb
I had
trees.
was go do that. Go do the thing that
I want to go climb a tree.
9-year-old you loved. So for me, recently, it was jumping on the trampoline with Colin.
Playing video games.
Sometimes we gotta just play video games. You played Minecraft the other night.
Poorly.
I had a few days where I listened to the Spice Girls a lot and danced around and just had fun.
What else?
More of thinking of yourself as the child, because your inner child still exists here and now, today, and remembering that inner child needs love, and the thing that child loves, you probably are still going to enjoy in your 20, 30, 40, 90-year-old self.
These core values come from an exercise that Megan and I have done 2-3 times. It came from a men's group I was part of, and it came from a guy before that. Anyway, it's useful. We've got family members doing it, friends doing it. So just ask. I'll share it with you.
I would even do it again. It's been a couple years, but honestly, I think these are really good.
I'll do it again when we make a change again.
We've talked about the core values before, but definitely if you don't have your core values as a couple or as a family, I definitely recommend that practice. But before you do it as a couple or a family, I would say do your individual values.
We both took the exercise independently, made our lists, reconvened, realized we had a lot of overlap, and then debated on which ones would come that weren't.
Yeah, because if you don't do it individually, then there's a lot of influencing.
Someone's taking the reins.
I actually would say that if you are in a new relationship, this would be a good exercise to do it individually. Hey, let's individually make a list of our top 5, 10 core values, and then come together. And if none of your core values align,
it's new.
They could change, but
they could change.
If none of your values align, though,
prepare for heartache one way or another. Podcasting with a baby. Bye.
Yeah, we're done. We've been done.
Wait, don't go. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and share via review or post how this episode complemented your life.
Thank you for listening. Connect with us on Instagram or Facebook at Memory Millionaires. Be well.